You might already know my take on the terminal emulator Kitty, and my take is that I hate it. I despise it with my soul. It's terrible for many reasons, the main of which is that it's fucking unbearable to configure. And today this doesn't change. Oh, by the way, fuck yeah, so this link that I have that links me to the current stream that I'm doing, it actually works. Fuck yeah. That's really cool. Because if you didn't know, in my Discord server, the link to which is in the description, there's a special role that you can get if you want. And you'll get pinged for my streams. Yes, I completely stole that idea from Soding. Comparing Kitty to Alacrity, it's interesting because Alacrity is a lot less featureful, which isn't a problem necessarily by itself, because if there aren't many features but everything works good and well, that's okay. That's a working terminal. However, there's one big difference, which unfortunately makes Kitty objectively better. It is the rendering speed and rendering quality. If you go ahead and open Alacrity with some text in it, you can do something like do RG help, or I guess maybe something that you definitely do have installed. Let me think what it might be. Let's open help for head, just so you have some text on your screen. And also open this in Kitty. Look at the text. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure you are going to see a difference in how well it looks and how well it's rendered. Speed, you might not be able to tell the difference. I don't think I have. Maybe, but it's like very, very slight. So it could just be bias. But quality, it's like unfortunately very noticeable. If you're currently using Alacrity, go make a test. Just try to use your NeoVim exactly like you would usually, but now in Kitty. As you use it, you will most likely see a difference. The difference of that Kitty just looks better straight up, which is why I some time ago went back to Kitty after Alacrity. So, what did I implement this time? What I did this time, actually, I wonder. Okay, yeah, it should be fine. So, I had to fix a bad thing in Kitty once again. It has certain action, and I don't have like the thing for it anymore, but long story short, you can scroll to the previous and next prompt, which sounds very good. So basically, here I have this prompt, so I'm currently scrolled into there, and then I can use mappings to scroll to this one, this one, this one, this one, so on, etc. So rather than only being limited to scroll by a page or a line, you can instead scroll the probably more useful way and scroll by prompt. That sounds amazing. What's the issue with that? Hi! Hello. The issue is that, first of all, nicknames aren't yellow and they should be. I should fix that. YouTube chat, make nicknames yellow. And we'll do that exactly once I explain this thing. So the issue is that it doesn't fucking work. Or even worse, if it just didn't work and didn't exist, that would be okay. Let me actually move chat here. But unfortunately it does work, but sometimes it doesn't work. To kind of explain the why and how, let's imagine I'm here and I scroll to the previous prompt. I go up to here. That is expected. I press it again, and I expect to end up at here. But for some odd reason, I scroll to this prompt. This one then works, and this one works. But then for some odd reason, once I scroll through all of this, it's very, very long output. Ridiculously long. Tricked me into signing into my Google account after 2 months of being signed out. How did that even happen? How do you just casually not sign in to Google? That's the most Linux thing I've ever heard. Okay, so say I do rg-help. As you just saw, scrolling through all of that takes a lot of time and effort. So this is the perfect situation where you might want to scroll back to the previous prompt. But instead of scrolling to here, it actually bogs out and then scrolls to this one. Or this one. Or fucking this one. That's what happened to me. I tried to scroll to the previous prompt to RG and it scrolled to this prompt for some odd fucking reason. So it is inconsistent and bugged. For what it's worth, it didn't used to work this way in the past. This is my first YouTube video since 2 months. God damn. Wow, I'm happy to pop your cherry, I guess. Or I guess it would be better phrased that it's as if you're smoking and you quit smoking and now your first cigarette after 2 months and you're like relapsing. So congrats, I guess. This didn't used to work this way. It used to be correct, but then somewhat recently this bug got introduced. For what it's worth, you watching the VOD in the future, this bug might have already been fixed. And for you it might not be a bug anymore. But maybe not. Maybe it takes a year, 2 years, fucking 3 years, maybe it never gets fixed. Why? Because somebody opens an issue and it is immediately angrily closed by the asshole kitty maintainer. So I have no hopes for it. I wonder if Neovin can do it inside of terminal. Well, don't make spoilers now. Okay, it's not exactly what I'm talking about though. Yep, that's what I think too. So this sucks. The really cool feature of scrolling more usefully, basically, in a terminal is kinda like not really reasonably usable. In VS Code terminal, there's a mapping to scroll to. Yep. I do know about that one, and I really respect it. Like, the VS Code terminal has no business being as good as it is, so good job on them. It's like a pretty fucking solid terminal. But the thing is, I don't like using a terminal that's built into another program. So I don't like a terminal that's built into my editor. Like in Neovim, for example, you can do term, and this is now a terminal, straight up. And it like works like a terminal. But it has some weird stuff. One of them is that I don't remember how to exit it. I think Control/escape or not. Let me just fucking close it, honestly. It's gonna be easier. Why am I fucking back? Let me redo it again. And go back to here or something. It doesn't really matter where I am. Let's go here, I guess. Generally, terminals within an editor have some certain different rules, whatever they might be. And also you have to worry about making your mappings not conflict with that terminal, and that can become its own bag of worms. So it's not worth it for me for that reason. And also, overall, for some reason, I just enjoy using a terminal in a separate kind of way. I want my editor and terminal to be separate. They're using shell integration. Yep. So does Kitty, but it's just bugged. Honestly, I recommend. Like, if I was asked, oh, what terminal do you recommend? I would not say Kitty, I would say Alacrity, actually. Well, I've only really used 3 terminals. 4 if you count the VS Code one, but I tried my best to make use of it. I did not want to use it. So I used Windows terminal back when I was on Windows. Then I switched to Kitty, and then I switched to Alacrity, and then I switched back to Kitty. So far, the terminal that I recommend the most is still Alacrity. Even if it's objectively worse, it is subjectively much, much better. You do not have to bang your head against the wall when you use Alacrity. You do when you use Kitty. I have terminal mode. Escape. Yeah, that makes sense. Back when I tried using it, before I made some special thingy that I talked about on some of my previous streams. Once again, I have no clue what either of those words mean. I had this bound to shift escape, so if I'm in terminal mode, shift escape would go back to like normal mode. The reason why this is like important is because I use Vim mode in my shell, so just binding it to escape wouldn't make any sense. Pick one? No, I will not. I have Flatten NeoVim, which is a really cool plugin idea. I'll have to elaborate, because that sounds like a very interesting name. Yeah, but I think it's a worthy trade-off. Ligatures are not that important. Third food is good, but it's Wayland only. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I really don't want to use Wayland, especially just for a terminal. Yep, exactly. True, but then ever since switching back to Kitty, I have yet to use that feature, funnily enough. There is some plugin for NeoVim that can use Kitty's image integration to show images, but I haven't set that up, and aside from that, I guess, yeah, what I could do is go to my memes directory. No fucking way, what? Let's go to memes from here. I'm surprised it wasn't Zox-sided. And I can do icat blammo. So this is what you can do in Kitty. However, I could just as easily do open or xdg-open if you're not on fish, and get kind of the same effect. So I haven't really used it much yet. Or you're a certified threat to the whole world? Goddamn, this is what it means to be a content creator. If 1, you don't have an opinion, or 2, you do have an opinion, how dare you, right? Flatten NeoVim is if you launch NeoVim in the embedded terminal. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's actually very cool. Fuck yeah. I checked it out, or more specifically, I watched I watched the entire video by Typecraft on Yazi, and the whole time where I was watching it, I had this thought of, wait, hold up, this is just Ranger. Like, what's special about it? This is literally just Ranger. Which is probably like an incorrect take, but I guess if you've seen one terminal-based file manager, you've seen them all. And I'm not like a huge fan of it. I mean, speed, how do I say this? Generally, everything is so fast that you will never see the speed difference anyway. So it doesn't matter. And it uses Lua, so now I hate it. I don't just have like a type type of opinion on it. No, now I hate it. I despise it, actually. I will shoot it with a gun, because I think we're far more than 30 seconds in. I should not get banned, at least. If I say I shoot a program with a gun. No, I despise Lua. I hate it so much. I hate HKV1 more than I hate Lua, for sure, but I'm honestly starting to like VimScript more than Lua, for the simple reason of VimScript actually providing you APIs to do useful things easily. Lua doesn't. Lua fucking has table insert table values, like, for fuck's sake. But I've already like talked about this many times. I should definitely write like a full ass comprised readme format, nicely formatted rant, so I can send it anytime Lua is mentioned. I super should do that, and let me actually add it. A Lua rant as a GitHub gist. Can in theory get Ranger to do images. Matter of fact, it does also support them. By the way, it super does. And I don't think I needed to do anything special for it to support those. I mean, in Kitty, by the way. Yeah, I know, right? Like, it's a travesty. If they could use... If both of them used Rust, I would prefer that. Sure, I would have to recompile my editor configuration every time, but at least I would use a language that lets me do things. I would maybe prefer Python. Yeah, I would probably prefer Python, but Python is like considerably slower than Lua, so I don't know if I want to make that trade-off. But in terms of language, yeah, I would like Python more. I would fucking like Fish Shell more, I think. Okay, maybe that's a stretch, but like, I like Fish Shell a lot. What other languages do I know? Oh, AutoHotkey V2. It would be a fucking blast. I love the syntax and power of AutoHotkey V2. It's like genuinely a good language, surprisingly. So coming back to Kitty, feature doesn't work how I want it to, but there's a special functionality. Wait, what? Here. So what you can do is use the Kitty action launch to launch a program from Kitty. This is like the main thing, but you get to specify where it's displayed. Is it displayed in a new tab, a new window, or as an overlay? So it just overlays over what you're currently seeing. Then you can decide to pass into the program that you're going to execute, and let me actually just zoom into stuff. You can decide what to pipe in to NeoVim. And this std source thing basically lets you pipe things that are only available in your Kitty instance. For example, the whole text of your entire screen, or the whole text of your entire scrollback buffer. So see how I'm scrolling here? This can also be passed into that special program. And what this means is that you get to pipe your entire scrollback buffer into NeoVim, for example. The more like obvious thing to do is to pipe it into less, which is a pager, but you can also use NeoVim to have a bit more power in your pager. Python is much slower and larger, and I would go crazy dealing with this package manager. Oh yeah, that's super true. Interacting with an embedded program. My experience with pip so far has been not stellar. It is. It super is. So, long story short, I can open my screen in NeoVim, well, this looks like almost nothing changed, right? But no, actually we're currently in NeoVim. All the UI is gone because I removed it, but we are in NeoVim. I can yank here. Oh, that's weird. The fact that the color is kind of strange. I can like yank here, yank until the end. I can use a leap, for example. I can change even. Not sure why you would want to specifically replace. Exactly. But I have to glaze Alacrity a bit. This is a default feature in Alacrity. You don't have to spend. I have spent to get to these two mappings that I currently have here. In total, I spent like easily 6 hours, maybe more. I'm probably underestimating them. Because to figure this shit out and to try to make it work and how you want, it took a lot of fucking effort. In Alacrity, this is just a mapping. You might even have a default mapping for it, but I set it to Alt Space in there. And what it does is just instantly, you basically cannot see any delay. It instantly opens your screen in like a Vim-like mode, and you can quickly go to somewhere and similarly yank stuff to your clipboard, and that's it. And you close it also instantly and it just works. Sure, you don't have the full power of NeoVim, but do you need the full power of NeoVim? Usually not, when you just want to usually just copy something. That's all you really want. And for that purpose, Alacrity's Vim mode is honestly just better. You can change if you want to run a program that produces some text output and then anonymize it and copy it. Yeah, I guess. I'm not sure what you mean by that, though. So aside from being able to open my screen, which by the way, this is going to be very cursed. I can open what I am looking at in NeoVim. So we're like double in NeoVim now. So for example, if I want to grab some UI element, now I can. Boom, I yanked this cool symbol. Or this, for example, to copy my current working directory. Although this is a very hacky way of doing so, and I have special mappings that do exactly that. And then I just close it and I'm back. It's very cursed, but it's super fucking useful. You know why? Let's say I open some telescope picker and it uses some special symbol somewhere. Boom, I just go on to copy it. Blammo, I'm done. So this is very, very, very useful. Also, I can open my entire scrollback buffer in NeoVim. It is not... Oh, that's interesting. Huh, that's super interesting. I should probably make a thingy that is more powerful than Alacrity Vim mode. False. Simply incorrect. In Alacrity, you could just as easily open this Vim mode and it would open way quicker, and you still can, in the same exact way, go to your place and copy whatever you want. So that's just incorrect. But being able to open your scrollback buffer, yeah. As far as I know, you cannot do that in Alacrity. No, actually, no, I'm lying. Yes, you can. Yes, I'm pretty sure you can. So, my point is that... Oh, and by the way, you see all sorts of colors here, right? Even though we opened it in NeoVim, by default, there will be no colors whatsoever. In Alacrity's Vim mode, colors retain. You still see colors, nothing changes. Did you open Vim and Alacrity? I am not using Alacrity right now. I maybe have it installed, but I can't be bothered to like go and check if I still have it configured and try to make up an example. It's just too much. So currently I'm showing you the kitty thingy. So it will not have colors by default, and I'm gonna get to how I do have colors. But Alacrity just has them. Just moves you to a different mode without changing how things look, without changing how things move. They don't. It's just plain and simple. The solution that I'm currently having is way more overcomplicated compared to Alacrity. So now I can scroll my scroll back buffer in NeoVim. And well, I still have the same issue that scrolling to RG whatever kind of takes too long. But now at least, a solution that I do have is I can just backwards search to say RG, just trying to remember what command I even called. Oh, I guess it was head. And boom, now I am at the start of this command, and now I can scroll like from the top. Let me actually do this. Wait, what? Huh? Why does it not? Oh, my bad. Yeah, so now we are at RG, the one that was actually really huge. So now I get to just scroll through it from the top rather than from the bottom. Because the Vim mode in Alacrity doesn't implement some motions, it doesn't have my custom mappings. If you can open the buffer in Vim, it's more powerful, but it's hacking. Precisely, yeah. And it's also more slow, at least in my config. It takes like a noticeable amount of time to open. And that's somewhat jarring. Alacrity is instant, and I think that's more worth it than some special motions. Because generally, when you want to just copy something, you can very much deal with default motions. It's not going to be that bad. So I can search, but what that implies is that I still have to like remember what command I ran. I don't actually think. I just do. What? So as I go through the motions and work on some stuff, the command to run is easier to type in and like execute than it is to recall and like actively think about. It's kind of how my brain works. So having to recall what command I just executed to then search for it is kind of much, and personally I don't want to do that. Which is why I implemented my own go to previous and next prompt. Finally, we're getting to the main point. Whoa! I mean, what I'm showing you currently is already like very cool. But some time ago, I talked about search harps. And they're very, very, very powerful. And I decided to use search harps here as well. So now I can do leader FF, and now my current search is this bullshit. I am basically rejecting my shell prompt. So I can just do capital N to go to the previous shell prompt. And it's just that easy, and I am here. I can even do something like, oh, go fucking 5 commands up, or whatever. I can do that. So it's even more powerful than the usual jump is in Kitty, and it's not bugged. And it should work very, very consistently, because this character, like this one, is not really gonna appear anywhere, and even if it does, you can see in the pattern, has to start with a tilde or a slash. like on the same line. Should probably also add a... Oh, actually, no, I won't. Oh, actually, also misses my special triple line prompt. But that's like a whole another different question of how to make your like Vim pattern correct, which is not really the problem of search harps. It's a problem of skill. I prefer real Vim over fake Vim emulation. Generally same, if it didn't take so fucking long for NeoVim to open. So if it's like solid and good enough, I can be okay with Vim emulation. And for the functionality of, hey terminal, can you please let me copy something with my clipboard? In this situation, Vim emulation is actually super fine, considering that fucking good luck trying to retain the colors while passing into NeoVim. Genuinely, good luck. But in the Vim emulation of Alacrity, colors are retained, so it's okay. I want to recommend the scratch buffer and REPL workflow to you at some point. Maybe. Kind of working through that currently with some stuff I talked about in the previous stream. Instant Vim mode makes sense if you use this often. Exactly. Like, if what you want to do is, let's say you like Uklaner 13 words, and now you just want to copy these words. That's... Yes, exactly. By the way, mine is also like similarly huge. Let's profile my... It's 132 milliseconds. I lazy load like a maniac. I lazy load everything that I can, and yet still it takes so fucking enormously much. It is ridiculous. So makes sense why I don't want to open NeoVim if possible, right? For some small operation, because what I want here is just to copy this entire line, and the like emulation of Alacrity would do this job very quickly and easily. But to do it here, it's fairly fast, but it would be faster in Alacrity in terms of startup time. Because a buffer is literally the ideal gold standard here. You can write a command and it just stays there. Yeah. Vim has a lot of cool things like that, where text can become code. And it's very replicable. It's super cool. So yeah, now by using a feature that I had anyway, search harps, I can now very easily and more conveniently, by the way, move between shell prompts. And the way that I wrote my regex for the shell prompt puts me on the first character of the command that I actually ran. So I can just do something like, let me give you like a very clear example. Let's say I executed some difficult command, like Uklaner 13. It's not difficult, but sure. And I want to copy this command. Of course, I have this in my shell, but let's ignore that. So I can now do this, search for the prompt, search for my prompt and yank until the end of the line, close it, and now I can copy it. Blammo. So my search harp for the shell prompt does two things. It moves me to the start of the command that I ran, while also being in a convenient place to actually move on to the output. And let's say I do this, I yank visual, or rather yank line-wise, next. It didn't fucking line-wise, what the hell? No, actually it did do line-wise, but it wasn't exclusive. What if I do yank V, capital V, next? No, that's unfortunate. Oh, actually, okay, I see. Lazy Vim has lazy file event and improved my startup time. Yep, Astro NeoVim also has a similar type of event where it only loads a bunch of stuff once you're like in a real file. But the thing is, I generally start in a real file anyway, so it's not that useful. So, okay, let me give you some better example. Let's let's do help once again. So it's a bunch of text, and let's say I want to copy this entire help page. So I open my scrollback buffer, search for my prompt, go to the previous one, yank until the next, yank line-wise next. Then I edit my default register to delete the last line. You can do this using my plugin editor.neovim. Here you go. And then I close it to save what I just copied. And what this means is that I effectively copied the entire output of this command that I ran, and that was pretty easy. It might be like a bit confusing, like as a first example, because like, oh wait, what are you doing using two different plugins to like do all of this? But once you get used to it, it's like very good. So let's try it again with a different command to kind of like practice. Now this one works for real files, not the dashboard. Yeah, I know. The same case for Astro. So if, for example, you open NeoVim with no file, Astro file does not yet happen, which is why you might notice it being faster than usual. And here's me opening a file immediately. What? Huh? Oh, I see. Oh, my bad. Hold up. So, no file, yes file. A bit longer. Let's execute some command that will give us multiple lines of output. Can't think of anything. Okay. Let's do lazy profile. 127. So it's still not great, but it's a bit faster. You can defer stuff to right after the buffer is open, but like why? Yeah, that's fair. Can somebody like recommend me some command that will give us multiple lines of output? That's more gaming in the system than actually being efficient. Push Control F, then enter 10. Well, everything. Yeah. So just simply lazy NeoVim loading in the entire spec by itself takes so much. And then the startup, a lot of which is taken up by AstroCo and AstroUI, which, just so you know, adds all of my mappings, all of my options, auto commands, changing all of the like highlight groups that I change, and I change a lot of them, and also sets up my color scheme. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's like so slow for me. Mm. Yeah, like, why is it so slow for me? I don't get it. And then LSP config is another 15 milliseconds. Yep, that's very much LSP config-y in the sense of it taking a bunch of time. Still thinking about a command to run, by the way. Yes, seriously. What's like a command that will give us some nice output, which isn't another help page? Because I want to give like a better example than that. Okay. Trim dash capital L5. Oh. Lamau. Yeah, I have it uninstalled. Good point, because I have Dust instead. Yeah. Blammo. Thank you also, but I finally thought of a program. So let's say I want to copy this output, because this does look like output that you might want to copy, right? So now, hell yeah, indeed. I love this dude so much. So he's a streamer, and he's fucking hilarious. Like, this specific VOD, absolutely hilarious. His stream ideas are always like super funny in concept, and they work really well. Okay, so now I can open my scroll back, search for the... keep using the wrong hotkey because I'm so used to using leader DFD something for another functionality. So leader FF, we go to the previous one, yank visual N, and now I can, like, very quickly, as you just saw, copy and paste it. It looks weird because it needs to wrap. It wouldn't usually look this weird if my file names were a bit shorter, but no, they include the channel name and the entire title, and then also the index of the video that I can, fun fact, why am I here? What? Let's go to here, for example, that I can yank inside semicolons, then use my special hotkey to... Jesus, it's so loud outside, I'm sorry. To take this index and turn it into a YouTube link that I can then send you. Voila. Yeah, so this is a pretty quick and fast way to copy the entire output of a command without relying on buggy features of Kitty that does not parse my prompts correctly for some odd fucking reason. So it's more trustworthy. But also, the extra benefit that you get is that you don't have to like copy everything. You can just check what you want and blammo. And I guess, yeah, it would make more sense instead of YV and then having to edit. You could just do this, and this is like faster and easier, by the way. So this is very nice. So how do I do this? These two commands, which I'm going to straight up just paste in the Discord server. Jesus, it's so loud. But it's also hot. And that's because it's hot outside. Thankfully, it's just like 20 or something Celsius outside. But simply because when I talk, I heat up. and because of that it becomes hot. Yeah, so basically, yes, I am making it so if you want this to copy, you have to join my Discord. This is because sometimes when you put things in chat, it formats them weirdly. So it like, I guess let's try. We might as well try, right? GVY. That's hilarious. I'm the fucking like, it's my stream. Why am I limited by thingies? And this also, but like it at least doesn't apply to me and the mods. So that's not an issue. But why am I restricted? Like, it's my stream. What the fuck? But sure, to make it like the most easy for the people that want this and don't want to join the Discord server, the link to which is in the description, by the way. Here you go. I think it didn't format anything weirdly, thankfully. Okay. I think it would be spam because you typed 17 too many characters. Ah, yes. Oh no, God forbid the streamer spams in their own chat. Oh no, right? YouTube deletes comments is it's annoying, 100%. Although I have to like be clear, there is a certain like autoban thing that I added. If you use the words man, dude, guy, and bro, one of those words, your comment, or I assume chat message, will get deleted. Because people just kept on misgendering me all the time. Like, way too much. So I added that rule. But everything else, like for example, you can't send links. I want you to be able to send links to like, oh, check out this plugin. I want you to be able to send me a link directly to it. But no, it's fucking blocked and I can't undo that. It's super fucking annoying. The equivalent command for key terminal. Nope. Nuh-uh. Wait, hold up. Can you not send the word man page? I would assume that it checks, like, if the word is inside another word, then it's probably okay. But if it is separate, then it is not okay. I know, right? Okay, so yeah, you can. Nice. So it works, like, reasonably. So I have all of this special behavior because when I have new of them, you can see all of my UI elements like normal. But when I open it like this, suddenly I do not have all of these UI elements. So this is special behavior that I achieve by passing the -c flag to new of them. And -c lets you execute a command mode command, one after another. So I execute the command do user kitty input. So it by itself will do absolutely nothing. But what does even do? Let's check it out. Do is basically the way to emit an event in Vim. More fully named, it's do auto command. So it will execute all of the auto commands for a given event, for the current buffer specifically. There's also do auto all, which will also execute all the auto commands for an event, but for every loaded buffer. So that's the difference. And the semantics are quite interesting, because instead of it saying, oh, emit an event, instead of having that semantic, it has the semantic of, oh, execute all auto commands for this event. So it doesn't actually emit the event, it only executes the auto commands for that event. It might functionally be no different, but the semantic of it is different, which is interesting, I think. It's just me, or are your sound effects off? Yes, they are indeed off, because having to manage that. So first of all, if I like unmute and then turn on my sound effects, then they're going to be playing off the speaker of my laptop, and you're going to very awkwardly hear them echoed through the microphone if I enabled sound for you, because my desktop sound is disabled for you anyway. So you'll just hear what the microphone hears of the sound effects, and they're going to sound really awful. So that first. So then if I wanted to make them sound good, to make them not be interpreted by microphone, I would have to wear headphones and literally die of heat stroke. And that's just not worth it. So when I stream, I remove the sound effects of NeoVim. On God, yes, it's so lovely. It's really neat. I love when my editor stims for me. It's very convenient. So basically what I do here is execute all the auto commands for the event user with the pattern of kitty input. And then I make an auto command here. I make an auto command with event user with the pattern of kitty input. And when this event happens, call this function. And this is the main juice that does most things, kinda. It sends a bunch of options to remove a bunch of UI and other stuff that I don't want in this kind of overlay type NeoVim thing. Then I remove all the trailing white space, and also I remove all the trailing new lines, because let's say you're like, you open screen at this point, there would be new lines all over here, and I don't want them, so I remove them. Yeah. Then after that, I do some magic. So I said that by default, you will not have colors like I do here. Everything is just going to be white and really hard to look at to differentiate what is a prompt and what is a command and what is an output. But I add syntax highlighting for myself. So the way that I do that is using the match add function. So let's do match add. So this lets you basically add a syntax highlighting for something. You provide a Vim pattern and you provide a highlight group to highlight it with. Feel free to read the doc on it. It's going to be more precise than any explanation that I'm going to give to you. But long story short, it lets you syntax highlight stuff. And it's going to be stronger than the syntax highlighting of your LSP, your tree-seeder, and any other syntax highlighting. So it comes first. This is also how I implement this fix me thingy to have a orange background. I also use match add here. So anytime I use fix me in my code, it's like blammo. Yeah. So I make a pattern that highlights my path to be pink, my branch to be purple, this symbol to be yellow, and the command to be green. It's not as perfect as the actual highlighting that I use in the shell, but it's good enough to make it easy to visually parse things. So yeah, I have a bunch of patterns here. Obviously, you will have a different shell prompt than me, so your patterns might need to be different, almost definitely. And that's just, I guess, just depends how good you are at Vim regex to add them. But some simple stuff like, oh, I have this special symbol in my prompt, like this one, highlighted differently. That's like pretty easy, because you can see here, like this pattern, for example, this highlights this symbol to be yellow. It's pretty simple. So that is how I bring back some of the colors, and this makes it way easier to see what is a prompt, so we can more easily parse visually, like, okay, I want this, blammo. Okay, so this is how I made functionality to easily go on and copy different outputs of commands and jump between prompts to maybe read a help page more conveniently. Because Kitty sucks. And yes, I will not argue that being able to do this is worth it. I think just things working to begin with would be better. But obviously now that I have this functionality, I appreciate it, but I would rather not have to implement it, you know? I want to glaze Harp Neovim once again a bit. Let's go to... Why does nobody just make a terminal that works? I know, right? On God! I guess Alacrity is kind of that, but then it is considerably worse at rendering than Kitty. So, like, basically I'm waiting for a better terminal to come out than Kitty to instantly fucking switch off Kitty. All these fucking cool features that I have are not worth it, honestly. And I'm similarly waiting for a good model editor to come out with support of plugins to instantly switch off Neovim. Because in a similar sense, all of these features are not worth the really shitty foundation of Vim. We need to just take ST and then apply every patch to it and really write it in Rust. Maybe, yeah. I just remembered that there's a plugin called Kitty Scrollback that does what you want. Huh. I have a tendency to implement things on my own, even if they exist, because I guess it's more fun for me to figure out how to solve this problem than to get the actual solution most of the time. This plugin is probably better, most likely. Do you by any chance know if it retains colors? Because if so, I'll probably just switch to it. Let's jump to my harp mappings. There's a special thingy that contains all of the to-dos for all of my projects. Huh, it has colors. Well, I guess I'll have to switch to it then. And this file is generated dynamically. It goes through all the project.txt files, grabs all the lines from them, and puts them after the path. And I also use match add here to highlight the paths. I could, I guess, also use conceal to not make it not display the full path, maybe. I could. I don't really care that much though. So this file is dynamically generated, and I used to make it so it is generated every 10 minutes. But now I just make a mapping that directly does that. So I store this file in a default harp in the register O. So when I do leader SO, I jump to this file, wherever I might be. Well, I could just make a special cased mapping for harp to execute the command that actually updates the file, and then still get the path and go edit it. So I still have the mapping leader S for harp to let me move to default harps, but it just so happens that when I want to access the register O, it should have some special behavior. And see how easy and simple it is to add this special behavior? Which is why I really like the design that I went for with harp. lets you easily say, oh, when I access this register, you should make 3 backflips. You can very reasonably easily do this, which I love a lot. You could also, I guess, just not use harp here at all and specify the path yourself. But the benefit that you get here is that if I ever change the path in harp, I'll only need to change it in harp, and this will get dynamically updated. I won't need to reload new of them ever. So this is why I still use harp in this mapping. Let's actually go and look at that plugin. Because in a way, I am hoping for it to be bad for some reason, so my ego feels better having written my own solution. It's probably just straight up better. Actually, let me move chat so you can like react and stuff, and so that I could see you react. So navigate. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. Oh, it also removes UI. Oh, that's good. I find it super fucking hilarious how the person seems to just casually insert ASCII escape codes for colors, which is really fucking cool for what it's worth. And it retains colors, it seems like. The demo is still loading. Interesting. Oh, I see. Oh, that's weird, but pretty cool, not gonna lie. So you can like edit stuff and then execute those as commands. Don't get me wrong, that's really cool, but this terrifies me because I will overcomplicate things. This depresses me. Like, I'll definitely do way too much with this. Interesting, it automatically closes. Huh. That is pretty fucking cool. Execute visual selection. Okay, so it seems pretty damn cool, but it also seems overwhelming. This is just the autism in me talking, because I know full well, I know myself and how much I love to configure things, and I know that I'll overcomplicate into making this like obscene. It does too much though. Yeah, exactly what I feel. So like, don't get me wrong, this seems like a genuinely good plugin that you should probably install like massively over my solution. Matter of fact, I'll send you the fucking link. I haven't used it yet, obviously, but I think I already recommend it more than my solution. However, my autism will not allow me to just install it and use it as is. I will fucking go insane configuring it and making it perfect, and that is like an at least 10-hour endeavor, which I'm scared of going across. And no, I cannot just not do it. It's basically required for me. So, cool plugin, very cool plugin. I am terrified, so I'm only gonna check it out if like I keep noticing that I want its behavior a lot. Otherwise, I'll just keep on with my simple hacky solution. Thanks for suggesting it, because for the people that actually want the functionality that I've been talking about on this stream, this is a better solution. But if you want something more rigid and something where you don't have to worry about maybe having to configure a lot of things, maybe my solution is going to be more fitting for you. But I doubt that's like a very common situation where you're like terrified of plugins, and I am sometimes. GitHub is really annoying. Say I submit some pull request to some repo. I prefer minimal stuff. I don't even use Kitty. That's super fair, and honestly, good on you, genuinely. I am kind of the opposite. I really like functionality, and I like functionality to do a lot of things for me, which is why Harp Newvim exists. If you know what this plugin is capable of, you'll see that, holy shit, god damn, like, it does a lot by using simple concepts, but effectively using those concepts can take a lot of brain power. So I personally like that a lot, and I go in depth configuring things to be like really powerful, even if they take more like brain power to use effectively. I really enjoy that. And this channel is just an excuse for me to talk about those overcomplicated solutions for really specific problems, with hope that they're actually going to be useful for some other people. Will Harp work in Helix? I like to use it, but it's missing bookmarks. So basically, Harp Newvim is based on Harp the terminal program. All that Harp does is just give you a convenient interface to store and retrieve file paths, line numbers, and column numbers. That's all it does. And in that sense, you can easily use it to implement whatever fucking functionality that you want. For example, I have functionality to add fish bookmarks, like for fish shell bookmarks. So for example, I can do md and I go to .files. As easy as that. So as long as the program gives you an ability to execute a shell command and get its output, yes, you can implement Harp into doing whatever you fucking want. However, as far as I know, Helix does not have stuff like that. So currently no, but once it gets plugin support, yeah, I'm like very sure you'll be able to do that. So, GitHub, right? I may have opened the pull request, and I'm very anxious. I want to see immediately as it happens any comments from the maintainer, for example. Maybe the maintainer says like, oh, fix this one little thing and I'll merge. So what I end up doing is just reloading GitHub every once in a while, like too commonly, to see the notification thing update. And then I'm like, oh, I got new notification. Oh my god. Because there's no desktop notifications that I would just naturally get. A solution is having the GitHub app installed on my phone, but then I have to look at my phone to get notifications that should be able to appear on my desktop. I don't want to use my phone if possible. My phone just randomly lies around somewhere on my table, and I don't want to look at it, I don't want to touch it, which is why I'm like slightly annoyed by like 2auth. Basically, when you log into something and you have to use your phone for it. I'm annoyed by it. I do understand the security benefit of it, but I'm still like very annoyed by having to do it. So it's not really a solution for me. I want desktop notifications for GitHub notifications. And I recently implemented it. Let's go to here. You can use the GitHub API to say, oh, give me my notifications. And you have to install baru gh cli for this. That's hilarious. Maybe it's like GitHub cli. Yes, so install this first, then do GitHub auth to authenticate it, and you also have to give it some permissions. I don't remember which, but you'll figure it out. And then you can use GitHub API to submit a post or a GET request. It will give you a JSON containing a bunch of information about your notifications, if you have any. And then I use JQ to parse through that JSON in my shell, conveniently. And so effectively I turn it, like the output into the repository and then the title of what the notification is about. So basically the same thing that you would see here in notifications. I get that string and then I add it to my special file. Let me show you an example. Literally, when I add stuff to the third magazine, my global register, that actually appears here. And I can see, I have something new that I need to handle. And so I go and check, so here's the new GitHub notification that I just added, or rather that just got added automatically. I'm like, I have a new notification, and then I can just go onto GitHub and go check it out. So I effectively, Jesus fucking Christ. I effectively now have desktop GitHub notifications. A more simple approach would be to just do something like notify send and don't automatically close if you want that, or you can set a time in milliseconds that you want, like for example 5 seconds, like this notification should stay for 5 seconds. And then you do notifications. Or I guess like this. Blammo. And you will get a notification with the GitHub notifications. However, then like there's the issue. If there is a timeout, then I need to notice it. What if I don't know, go to the kitchen and I miss this notification? I'll never see it again. I'm not gonna like go check the notifications that I recently got. If instead it doesn't disappear, then that means it comes up here, and now I immediately have to figure out what to do with it. Because it would be annoying to just keep it there permanently. That's super fucking annoying. So I either have to go on and immediately check it and do something with it, or write down somewhere, go figure out that GitHub notification so I can actually close the notification. So it's basically pretty annoying, which is why I have this special functionality that instead just adds the notifications to my magazine with index 3, so that I can just go and handle these notifications when I'm ready to. Blammo. So they can stay for as long as they need to. Also, wait, no, not here, in daily. I use this kind of functionality in more places where like special events, like birthdays, special dates, and appointments, all of those appear here because this file gets ran every day at 5 a.m. And if, for example, I have an appointment that day, I'll have a notification here saying, oh, you have this appointment at this time. Or maybe, oh, you have this payment tomorrow, and this is like all checked dynamically. Talking about like events, appointments rather. I actually wrote the parser. That's hilarious. I literally I disable DAP. Why are you complaining at me? So I actually wrote the parser for like special events. There's probably a browser extension for that. Yeah, but then like first of all, I would have to figure out how to actually make GitHub make notifications, and then I would have to check some random ass place that probably doesn't have a hotkey for it in a separate place that I don't ever want to touch. And if I have to use the mouse for a solution, it is not a solution. Well, the thing that I already have here, I use for multiple things, so I might as well continue using it for multiple things. On God. So this is another one of magazines, so capital T. What I can do here is do something like, oh, on the 6th, there will be an event at, let's say, like 10 a.m. This is the event description. And so tomorrow I will get a notification here that will tell me at 10 a.m. this is the event description. And I wrote this parser in Python. This is like my first experience in a while with Python. It was actually a pretty positive one. A lot of things I was able to guess in terms of the syntax and usage and all that stuff. And some things were like very nice. So in Rust, working with files is actually pretty fucking annoying. It requires a bit too much syntax for an operation so simple. It makes sense in Rust, but also it's not like the most ergonomic generally. But in Python, I was able to do it like very quickly. You just do with open as file, get all the lines of the file. And it's not like you have to do let lines and then this. No, lines are just like instantiated and here you go. Like it shares scope. And then I just do a bunch of stuff in terms of the parsing, which was overall pretty simple. Like for example, I was able to guess split. I was able to guess slicing mostly. I had to ask for the syntax of ChatGPT, but mostly I just guessed. Basically, I was able to implement this program very easily without knowing the language very well. And yeah, that's a pretty fucking nice experience. So I hope it's going to continue being nice as I learn Python, because it seems like a useful language potentially to have. Sometimes Fish Shell is not strong enough to fit my needs, and it wasn't for this use case. And having Python in my bag of knowledge will be very, very convenient. There is a setting in oil NeoVim, this, that automatically, I wonder where it is though. Here it is, that automatically updates the files that you see here as they come in. I used to have it enabled, but now I disabled it for a very silly reason. So anytime that new files come in and they update, like the buffer gets refreshed and your cursor actually gets moved. Even if it stays in the same position, your cursor still gets moved. So basically moved from this X to once again this X. And as I download YouTube videos generally with YouTube DLP, so this program, which is a wonderful program, I have a bunch of hotkeys for downloading YouTube videos. The way that it downloads is that it downloads a bunch of stuff in parts. So it doesn't just download into a single file, it downloads into multiple different files and then it combines them to try to min-max the best quality and audio sound. And what happens with reverb.neovim is that anytime a file gets added and changed, and this happens a lot of times, there's a lot of temporary files. Every time that happens, there's a sound effect that plays for my cursor moving, which is hilarious. It is absolutely funny. So this is why I removed this like auto update functionality, because anytime I downloaded something, then suddenly I had a bunch of sound effects all playing at once for my cursor moving, which is absolutely hilarious. And this happens like even if NeoVim is currently not the active window, so I might be watching some video and then I just hear a bunch of weird, strange sound effects. Absolutely hilarious. I want to show you a cool function that I found and added to editor.neovim. Confirm vimscript functionality once again, because it seems like a lot of API in NeoVim is just kind of nicer and easier to use if it's vimscript functionality rather than NeoVim Lua API. For some odd fucking reason, it's just kind of, I like it more. And this is one of them. Confirm, long story short, lets you give to the user a prompt where they will pick between multiple options. For the specifics of how to use it, once again, it's better to go look at the help page for it, because I'll definitely miss some details that are important, but it's actually super convenient. Let me show you how it looks. In Editor NeoVim, my plugin, you can edit a register, which is, yeah, that's the entire thing about it, but you can also decide the register type. What that is and why that's useful is explained in the plugin. Not really going to talk about it, but long story short, I need to ask the user which register type they want. And now I use confirm for that. So I close, and now this is the confirm function. I give them a prompt that says pick register type, and very easily I add a bunch of options. There's a default option, so if you press enter, the default option will get executed automatically, or rather get returned, and returns you indexes. So if you press K or enter, because it's the default, it will return 1. If you press L, doesn't have to be uppercase by the way, you can just press lowercase l, it will return 2, 3, and 4. And the user does not need to press L and then enter. No, they just press a single character. So it's smart like that. And the kicker is that if the user presses escape, it returns 0, which is very, very useful. So using that, I can easily implement functionality where if the user presses escape, this edit that they just did gets cancelled. I still had that functionality, but the way I had to implement it was quite a bit more annoying. Because I had to compare against a literal character of escape, which is very hacky and silly. Here I don't have to do that. I can just check, oh, if it's 0, just return. But if it's 1, then do this action. If it's 2, etc. So it's like very, very convenient API, and I'm glad that I discovered it. Also, it looks far better, and it's more like understandable. Like previously, when I do nil if it doesn't match. Do you mean like in terms of the, like why does confirm not do that? Because it's VimScript API. Oh, and also, the really nice thing, if you press anything else than the options that you're supplied, I'm pressing J 45 times now, nothing happens. So it only accepts the characters that are presented. I love VimScript. VimScript, more like WinScript. On God. So, I handled this in a more ass way. First of all, it wasn't yellow pretty like it is now. And the prompt looked a bit more annoying. Choose register type. L or C or B. So this is how the prompt looked before in my plugin. The fuck is L, C, and B? You just have to remember, you cannot try out this feature, you have to have read the README to understand what those options even are. If you even understand that these are specified options rather than just some random letters I decided to put in, right? And then how to pick the keep option is not really specified. It's explained in the README, but it's not obvious how to do it like here. With confirm, all of it is very clear. Or like, oh, press L to pick line, press B to pick block. And this is a bit more like explains it better. Like, oh, pick register type block. I see, so I'm picking the block register type. You might not be exactly sure what that implies, but you already understand far more information than you did from my previous prompt. And you just have an explicit option keep to keep the register type. So yeah, and I just pressed escape and I canceled out of the operation. So very, very nice API that I'm glad I have discovered. The scripting language is actually awful. Yeah, Lua is great as the language, but bad as stdlib. On God, yeah. But I think I treasure and value std, or at least easy access to more features, like in Rust, far more than I do, like, other stuff, you know? VimScript is an std pretending to be a language. Yeah, exactly. B is the only type that matters. True. Because, goddamn, I am so tired of... Let's go here. Wait, no. I want to give you a stretchy example that you will never want to do. I'm so tired of copying around 6 lines and then wanting to edit them to be blockwise instead. and my editor doesn't allow me to do that. Oh no. I'm sure there's some way where you might want this behavior or other functionality, and my plugin lets you do that. The more like obvious and helpful functionality is copying something block-wise and then editing it to be line-wise, and then you can paste it like this. But a more straightforward way of doing so is just moving the default register into the default register and picking a line, so you don't have to edit, you just change the register type. I already talked about editor in some previous stream, so if you're interested in this kind of behavior, go watch that stream. I'm going to give you a link to it. Here you go. And officially, holy fuck, I have finally exhausted all of the topics that I had saved to talk about. Woohoo! Finally, yeah! Which I'm really happy about. Is there anything that I usually forget? Because the way it works is that I basically stream until I burn out, which is a very bad idea. I try my best to like basically quit while I'm up, so that I don't necessarily like quit after burning out, but sometimes I miss that kind of golden balance, and then I forget about some certain small thing that I wanted to mention on stream. Now that I have Flatten working how I want, actually just immediately forgot what it does, Lamau. I'm sure you have explained it already somewhere. Oh yeah, it like moves buffers blah 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 from terminal mode, which is really cool. Yeah, I can solve all the terminal scrollback problems by just pressing escape and copying what I want. That's a pretty good solution as well. Nice. It's pretty neat. Do you use toggle term, by the way? Before I had my solution, which is this, I used to use it. Can't say much about it. It's like restricted by what terminal mode is restricted. So I wasn't like too happy about using it. But then I implemented basically Kitty integration, where I can, from NeoVim, do something like, oh, create a new window with the current working directory of the parent of this current buffer. That's very long to explain, but you can probably see what happened. I opened a new Kitty pane that has the current working directory of the parent directory of the buffer that I'm currently in. Damn, even like as a shortest explanation of it, it's still super fucking long. It's actually very useful. Let me try to give you an example. I want to pitch the idea of a REPL workflow. I don't know what toggle term is. Oh, so that's actually a plugin for basically this, but within NeoVim. Have space T bound to this sort of. Let's say I want to write a new script. So let's go to Wednesdays, then GQ, new script.py. I do, I believe this, yes. Print something, and then I can't just, well, first of all, it's already useful to be able to open this directory, so I can do new script like from here, right? But oh no, it's red. Why? Because I need to chmod it first. So I do chmod new script, and I can just very easily insert the file name. And it's like quick and easy, rather than having to like insert a more full path to this script. Now I can just go directly to the folder that contains this file and do so directly. Boom. very quick and easy. So then chmod it and then run it directly here, rather than having to do chmod plus x scripts new script like this. Like this takes longer. I don't have the file name thingy. So yeah, this is like super convenient. And then also, if I don't want a window, I can instead do the same thing, but with a tab. And then also, I added functionality to be able to create a new Kitty tab, but in a CD harp. So for example, I can press E to go to editor directly. I can also do this from my shell. So MD, ME, and it's using the same exact harps, CD harps. But basically, I prefer doing this, like to directly open a tab and go to this directory, rather than opening a new tab and then going to that directory. In terms of speed, it's not very different. The latter approach might actually even be faster, but I like the directness of this approach, which is why I have it. But I do have, that is a crazy name, which I think is the plugin that auto-chmods files that you type. Yo, that's so cool! That's so fucking cool. Let me add that to my thing. That's so fucking cool. Oh my god. This is a really cool plugin. And before I go, let me show you another banger track that I recommend you to listen to. As usual, it's Necro Trap. I only really listen to Necro Trap and Trap Metal. I'm like very hard stuck in the genres that I listen to. It isn't listed as a feature, so I'm not sure. Huh, interesting. What does that plugin even do then? Like, what is it for mostly? Because if it has extra behavior, then I'm less likely to be interested in it. I think I still have some energy. So let's, I know, crazy, actually do something on stream rather than just talk about things that I've already done. And for the people that are more interested in the more like active and dynamic content, it is now ending. I am chilling officially. Provides a couple commands like make directory and move and stuff. I feel like I want a command like delete to delete the current file, not just buffer. Maybe it already exists and I just don't know about it. I guess what you could do is the exclamation mark remove %, and % stands for the current buffer, by the way. Yeah, I should probably just get used to using this. And that kind of fixes all of my problems. That's delete. Cool. Cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's start typing in a long ass sentence. Actually, I wrote an entire fucking poem without ever leaving insert mode. Oh wow, it's so long. That's what she said. I go into normal mode, and then when I do U, whoops, now all of these lines are undone together, when maybe what I wanted is to undo the last sentence. The way that undo sections work in Vim and NeoVim is that basically every time that you come into insert mode and change some text or add some text, this singular thingy will be undone. This is why sometimes a single letter gets undone, and other times a whole entire paragraph. That's because they are counted by like insert sessions, we can call them. And then it had the sleeper feature. Yeah. That's a very fucking cool feature. The idea is basically this. You add a command in normal mode, or copy this text and paste it into a terminal. You could try to get used to. I actually sometimes do that, but sometimes the semantics of pressing enter are needed. What do I mean? If condition, I am pressing enter. I am pressing escape O. I needed to press enter there, you know? So sometimes it doesn't work. Or rather, it sometimes doesn't do what you actually want. Which is why escape O isn't always a direct like alternative. But the benefit that you get is that, say you are here and you want to start typing in the next line. You can just press enter, because then it moves the text here. But you can do escape O, and this does start a new line without any extra bullshit. So both of them are very, very useful, just for different use cases, that's all. I don't really see why this is useful. I'm like thinking about it, because well, I just go through my history now. I have 15 minutes left before my browser kicks me back off YouTube. That's hilarious. Why is your browser the DOM? Holy fuck, that's a pun actually. REPL stuff is super useful. I guess I just don't really see it in my workflow. So, undo sections. There's actually a way to split multiple undo sections without necessarily moving out of insert mode, because you might not always specifically want to go back to normal mode just to update to mean, oh, actually split this. So to give an example, something. Now it is done by sentence because it's two insert sections. I don't know how to explain it, but it's amazing. Yeah, I super feel that. Sounds super relatable. I use it for non-shell stuff all the time. If you're working on that Scratch Python file, you might want to just run one part of the program. Like if you're testing or experimenting. Yeah, but like for that, what can just... Does something just print? No? There's no specific lines that we can just execute on their own. But let's just make up something. There's some line that I can execute. Well, I can just do this. And essentially I execute the line. I pipe a range of lines into Python, and I get its output in messages. I talked all about that on the previous stream. And let me give you a link to that. So I still underuse it, but I'm slowly getting used to using this. And this is like very, very cool and powerful. I just don't really see any reason to expand on it. I think it's good enough, you know? So you can set up the target terminal to be in a Python REPL. Yeah, but like Vim already does that, you know? And you can just run any line you want instead of it being go through my history sort of deal. It can be pick the line I already have. I guess a good thing would be to make a mapping for this sort of thing, so you don't have to write this in all the time. It's very similar, but you don't have to scroll back through messages. Well, yes you do. Wait, you don't? I thought it got stored. It doesn't. Interesting. Damn. Oh, yeah, I guess. Huh. Yeah, that's super fair. Also with the REPL, you could, for example, go and run all the imports and then go back to your line. Yeah, that's like the killer feature, not gonna lie. But then, what? I don't care. Oh my god. Shut up. Like, what the fuck? Stupid fucking Python. So I can fairly easily copy lines and paste them in. Or I guess not. How do I disable this fucking useless ass bullshit? I don't care about security. Shut up. So yeah. Watch out, you might be pasting. Oh no! Thanks so much for telling me. I didn't know. Python isn't a great example because it's indentation specific. Oh yeah, you're also super correct. But yeah, let's just imagine it's some more reasonable language. So yeah, I'm sure your like workflow REPL is really enjoyable and cool. Definitely. But I just want to point out to the viewers that there's already some like REPL functionality and power in Vim as is. So yes, indeed, feel free and go like expand on it and make it work a bit more precisely how you want. It can be very powerful. I almost forgot to make you chatters yellow. Wanted to do that at the start of the stream. So author name. YouTube live chat secondary text color. Nope, I'm gonna be using a special one. So author name, YouTube live chat, author chip. This is specific enough. So let's go to chat CSS and make the color to be FFD 75F. Non-mod chatters nicknames. I feel like anytime I'm suffering through scrolling back through history, I'd rather use a workflow where you just have a buffer. Yeah, good point. Very good point. So, for example, you have this and this. So this will contain a bunch of commands that you execute. And here you use R to execute those commands. Let me try to give you an example. Let's say we echo ASDF. Let's actually set this to file type fish. So I yank this, and here I use read command. Wait. How do I use... I don't have a way to conveniently use... fuck, that's annoying. I guess I can do this, and this is good enough. Yeah, that's good enough. Wait, XPC. So, to paste from my clipboard into fish. Then, of course, annoyingly, it leaves a blank line. But this is kinda sorta it. You know? That's the general idea. That sounds very interesting. I didn't want to scroll back 4 times. But the fourth to last history item keeps changing as I run commands. There's a plugin called Zeppel that's dead, but it does this really well. Lamau. Chat. Boom. Oh, I didn't copy it yet. Voila! And now you are yellow. Which is pretty cool. Haven't really tried it with shell. Yeah, there's like so much to first of all discover and then built into your workflow with just R, W, and this, and ranges. It's so fucking stretchy that it's like, wow. There's so much in there to be used in your workflow. I'm still learning it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for watching, and I'm gonna go. If, for example, you want to get pinged for when I stream, go and join my Discord server, ask me for the chatter role, and you're gonna get pinged for whenever I stream. Which in theory, at least, is very convenient. So yeah, thanks for watching.